Well, can you just talk a little bit about life and football and academics and the environment and how it can build human beings and you go through ebb and flow?
Well, this game we call football, and I've said this a million and one times. It's a vehicle. Okay, it takes you to certain destinations and places, but eventually the vehicle is going to stop. Okay, and the life lessons that you've learned while you were on that vehicle, it should last you a lifetime. You look at you use football and the four quarters that it's in a football game. You use that in life. So most of our players are in their first quarter. You're talking about from 0 to 20. They're in their first quarter. And then some guys are in the second quarter from 20 to 40. And then most of the coaches are either in the second quarter or the third quarter, which is 40 to 60. Okay. And then that last quarter is from 60 until the day you pass. That's the fourth quarter. I'm 53. I'm in the third quarter of my life. And I use that analogy so that our players understand how precious this game is, but how fast it goes. And your preparation, your dedicated, your commitment, those 4 years in college or 5 years in college, they go by quickly. So each play, each practice is something that you cherish. Each friendship is something that you cherish. And then, we've been trying to build our program around that ideology that your friends, that your lifelong friends, you're going to make them while you're in college, and you're going to keep them even after when you hang that helmet up. And it goes the same way with your academics. If you're putting in 2 hours on the practice field a day, then you need to put in 2 hours of studying outside of the classroom on your academics. And that's how you become successful. Repetition breeds championships. Repetition breeds goodness and doing things the correct way. So those are the things that we're preaching here at Delaware State, and our guys have really bought in. I think the one spot that I'm going to increase for going forward is going to be that mental health piece. That you think you're prepared, but you're really not. That grief thing is something that's real on top of the world's problems. Most of these kids that we have, they're COVID kids. Meaning that they went through something that you and me have never gone through before, and we all went through it together. Some of them didn't even have senior years in high school, and we have to understand that their mental state is very, very fragile because of the strongholds that were held on them during that COVID time. Although you say, "Oh, well, that was 2020, and now we're in 2022," doesn't mean that didn't happen. Trauma is something that's detrimental. When you've gone through something, okay, you may put it to bed, but eventually it's going to come out that closet and be right in front of your face again, and you're going to have to deal with it again and have some mechanisms that allow you to deal with that and to cope with what you've gone through and understand that it's in your past and that I have to have some type of system to move forward. So for us here at Delaware State, I'm definitely going to implement that over the off season and work strongly with our mental health administrators here on putting something together that can help our players cope better with grief, mental challenges, academic mental challenges, social mental challenges, and any aspect that they need to help them be a better successful person. And then that will lead to a better football player.
Coach, this weekend, a golden opportunity, 5-5, 2-3, senior day, alumni stadium. You look over, you'll see Campbell. There's a golden opportunity there to put a stamp on this season. Just talk a little bit about going into Saturday. And again, it's always great to compete.
Well, it's going to start with our offense. And I said this yesterday in our meeting, going to start with the offensive line. Every time we've had a victory, our offensive line has played well. Okay. When we have not done well, it's because our offensive line has played poorly. So I've had that sit down conversation with them. And of course, everyone on here knows that I play the offensive line. So you're probably saying, well, why is your offensive line playing poorly when you were an offensive line coach and you played in the NFL and as an offensive lineman? I get it. I understand it. Okay. And so I'm actively taking a stronger standhold this week and putting more time, more focus on our offensive line and putting the pressure on those guys. I know they can do it. They've done it several times before, but our offense goes where our offensive line goes. And if we can open up the holes, we can put any running back there and he can be successful. And we've shown that time and time again. Our receivers got to be better. Quarterback, whoever's back there as the signal caller, we got to give him time to throw the football. So it's all going to depend on our offensive side of the ball, how well we do. If we can score points, which I know we can because we've done it several times this season, our defense is going to do everything they can, like they've done all year long, to prevent people from getting in the end zone. And I remember some of my complaints were, hey, coach, they had 400 some yards. Yeah, coach, but they only scored 2 touchdowns. Okay, so we've been able to keep people out of the end zone, and that's something that we didn't do last week. But if you look at it, those 4 turnovers that we had a block punt, which is special teams. We had a long kickoff return, special teams. We had 9 sacks, which was an interception for a pick 6 offense. And we had a fumble recovery, which gave them a short field. So you're looking at 4 scores right there, and it had nothing to do with our defense. I think defense really gave up one pass in the end zone, and they've really played well. We got to help those guys out, and we can have a good day on Saturday. But we got to have 3 sections of our program playing well.
Coach, in closing, Mr. Brooks Parker and Mr. Goings, your linebackers, they're playing lockdown defense. Just talk about how they get after it and what that can look like.
Well, if I told you Brooks Parker was a walk-on, you'd probably slap me, but he was. Brooks Parker was a walk-on who played a lot of football his freshman year, which, for me, it was a no-brainer. Mid-year, I went to the AD and asked her if we could give him a scholarship, and we were able to do that. And it's been a blessing ever since. This year, he's playing super lights out. And I really believe that he has the talent to really play on Sundays. He's very smart football-wise. He's already graduated. He's working on his master's. Just a phenomenal football player, works hard in the weight room. And to see him really shine, I wish he had another year in our program. Going to miss him after this game right here. But, man, he just had a phenomenal season and playing against everybody, whether it was in conference or out of conference. 55 was all on your screen and all the time. And I'm so proud of him. And Mario Goins, is a sophomore. He's the guy. He's the quarterback on defense. He puts everybody in place. He puts everybody in place on special teams as well. And just a student of the game who will graduate this year. And then he'll have 2 more years to play, and he'll get his master's. He wants to go in the medical field. But those 2, if I had to put an MVP right now on our defense, those 2's name would definitely be in the running because they're really playing good football for us right now.
Thank you, Coach. I wish you guys health and strength going forward, and we'll be looking forward to covering you guys.
Fantastic.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time this morning. Those are all the questions.